Hello everyone, it's week 3 of the Nautical prompt in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium, and the theme for this week is Ride the Wave. Of course, in week 1 we had On the Rocks, week 2 was Under the Sea, and this week it's Ride the Wave. So I've pulled out a few bits and pieces that I thought I might be able to use for my project. You can interpret this in any way you like, of course, as long as it represents Ride the Wave with a nautical theme, then that's absolutely fine. But I've pulled out here a couple of scrapbooking pads. I've got this world map one here, and there's some really nice images in this that I thought I might be able to use. I've also got this one here, Travel Memories, and again, you know, there's some interesting papers here too, like that one. So we'll have a look and see if there's anything in here that I might be able to use as well. I've also got some pieces of ephemera and bits that I might be able to use for focal images. I've got a couple of postage stamps with ships on, a cigarette card here as well, which I thought was really sweet, an envelope with a ship on it, some shipping advertisements that I got out of a vintage book, and then a few other focal image ideas here as well. And then I have got an elementary atlas as well that I thought I might be able to use. This is the paper from the index that I used in week 1, and I particularly like this because you've got all the shipping and nautical references on it. Now, I am going to be working on these cards here. Now, these are picture framing mountboard samples, and I just thought, you know, these would make a really nice collage series. So I'm just going to pull out one of these, and that's what I'm going to use as my substrate. So I've pulled out one of the cards, that's what it looks like, and I know that someone is bound to ask, what does it measure? It's about 6 3/4 inches by just under 4 inches, and I must remember to work the right way up as well, because of course the ring goes in the top left hand corner. I could work either landscape or portrait, so we'll see. Now I'm just going to have a quick flick through here and pull out some pages. You see, I quite like that one there. I think there's 2 or 3 of each of these. I quite like that one as well. And I absolutely love this one, which looks like a stormy sea. Is there anything else in here? That's airmail, so that's no good. We don't want cherubs, do we? So that's that one there. And then we've also got this pad here as well. I quite like that paper. What else have we got? Quite like the gridded paper too. So I'm just going to pull out the ones that are a possibility, and then we can see. I love that one with the writing on it, and I absolutely love both of those as well. So, oh, here we go. We've already got one that's out of the page. So those are the papers that I can use in my background. I also love this as well, just to add something neutral. Some of these are quite neutral as well. So let's see what we can come up with. Now, as far as the focal images are concerned, that one there is just too big, and I suppose I could cut it down, but it's a bit dark. I really like these 2 here, so I think either one of these is going to be my focal image. So I guess I need to pull out some papers that might go. Let's try this one here. You see, that paper there is really calling to me. What else would go? You see, that one there is quite nice as well. That one's a no-no because the colours aren't right. In fact, the colours with that one would go with that one there. Do you know, I might do 2. Colours aren't right with that one there. I absolutely love that. And that one's not right. I've got a black and white theme that's really calling to me. So I'm going to ditch that one. But I really like the green as well. Let me just have a look through these and have a think about it. Okay, I've made a decision. I am going to have some of this paper here on the side, so I'm just going to tear this just to make it more irregular, and I'm going to have that there like that. So let me just tear this border here off as well, because I don't want any of that white border on the edge either. So let's just get rid of that so that make a boo-boo. So I'm going to glue that on there like that. So handy dandy old glue stick. Now, of course, I've got that side there as well. No, because I want it facing in. So decision made there. Glue stick is going to be fine for this. So just making sure that I've got plenty, as always, on the edge. Let's glue that on there like that. Now, I'm just wondering, actually, I like the idea of using this paper here. I'm just going to trim that. In fact, let's just do it with scissors. And I'm just going to pop that underneath because, of course, phew, good job I remembered there. I want the black on the bottom. Let me just make sure I've got that straight. Right, okay, so I need to apply some glue over this as well. Let me just open that out, otherwise I'm going to end up in a horrible gluey mess. So let's just apply plenty of glue. What's the width? Yeah, okay, to about there. Oh, I've had quite a few requests for more collage work, so here we go. Thought I would do a collage this week, seeing as I've been doing more mixed media over the last couple of weeks. So I just want to glue that down there like that. I should have glued this one down first, shouldn't I? It would have made life a lot easier for myself, but hey ho. Right, there we go. So now I can use my bone folder just to burnish that down, and I'm going to give this a quick zap with my heat tool and cut off the excess. And I'm just going to take an emery board just to file any excess from the edge and round the corners as well, because this picture framing mount board has got rounded edges and I want to keep those. So there we go, that's all nice and tidy. Now next I've decided I want to add either some of this or some of this, and oh, I keep changing my mind. This one here is calling to me and I'm going to glue it on right to the edge. So to make life easier this time, I am going to add the glue to the card itself to make sure that I don't waste my paper. So we'll just apply the glue all over the background like this. Choose your method according to which works best. Now I want my paper to go that way up, because of course that's in landscape, so I want this to go in fact, to save wasting it, I'll pop it there like that, and I'm going to burnish that down and trim around the edge. This is what I've got now, so we just need to bring all of this together. Now before I do anything, I just want to punch my hole in the back there like that, because then when I add the backing paper I'll be able to see where the hole is. So let me just move that out of the way. We need to bring all of this together. Now I just think that focal image there just works absolutely beautifully with that. That one there does as well, but no, I think it's going to be this one here, and I might make a set with the other similar image as well. I want to use this washi tape. I know it's got puffins on it, and puffins are more to do with on the rocks than they are ride the wave, but we've got our ship and we've got the waves here, so why not? I like it, and it doesn't matter. I want this to go a bit further over there, so I'm going to add that on. I will add some more glue as well. Let me just trim this down to start off with so that I know that we've got the right size. So pop that out of the way, and then I do want to apply some glue over this, because washi tape on its own will never stick, it'll just come unstuck. So let's just grab a spot of glue, here we go, and just add that there like that. Move that out of the way, and then we can pop it back down. Just make sure I get my puffin the right way up. That would be terrible to get it upside down. So I'm going to have that there like that. I really like the kilometre in there actually. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to have, whoops, now I've got it skeweth. So I'm going to trim that again, just burnish that down and give it a good trim. Now I've decided that my ship is coming into shore so the crew can see the puffin in the distance. So that's my justification for using a puffin washi tape. I like it. So there we go. I just want to add some charcoal pencil to the edge here, like this. So I'm just going to really messily just apply some there, and then I'm going to use a blending stump here just to smudge that out. There we go. So I'm just going to play around with this. I need a bit more there. I want it to catch on the edge of the paper because that looks really cool. And that will tie in with the black that we've got down here as well. I want to add a compass to the left-hand side of my collage. I've got this compass here that was in a set. I think this was from Crafts Beautiful, or one of those types of magazines. It's one of the magazines where you get supposedly free stamps. So I've attached it to my stamping platform, and I'm just going to use some of the archival ink in black. I've decided to go for black. I don't want to introduce any more colours. You know, I could have done it in a bronze, I suppose, but, you know, I've opted for black. So I'm going to stamp that down there. And I'm just going to go over this a couple of times until I've got a nice crisp image. You see, I really like how that looks. Make sure that we've got plenty of ink on the north, southwest, east. I'm just going to rub off the excess as well, because it'll be just my luck that I'll end up with the lines in the middle where I don't want them. So I think that will do. And finally, I want to add my focal image, and I can't decide whether I want to mount it on another piece of this matte paper or just leave it plain. What do you think? I think if I have it on the matte paper, it pulls in the map from the colour from the other side. So I think I'm going to do that. But I'm just going to ink the edges with some iced spruce to start off with. And I might add some black to this as well. But certainly the iced spruce. And I'm going to add quite a heavy layer of that. And I'm going to add some black. So we'll use the archival ink, seeing as we've got it here. Just go around the edge of that. I'm not going to ink the matte paper though. So let's see how that looks. Yep, I'm liking that. Or do I want to? Do you know, I think I will ink the matte paper. Hopefully make it stand out just a bit more off the background. There you go, classic changing my mind again. You see, I make it up as I go along. I think we all do, don't we? And I've just got to make sure that I've got that the right way up, so it goes that way up. So I'm just going to glue that down with a glue stick. I've applied some glue stick and some 3-in-1 just to make sure that that does stick. I don't want it coming unstuck, so I'm just going to weight that down under a heavy book for a minute or two. I really like that. So that's glued down now, and I'm just trying to decide whether I want to add some of this netting just for a bit of visual texture. And do you know, I think I will, because on this one here I had the burlap to add the quote to. I don't want to add a quote to this, and so I just think that the netting, the gauze, will just add a bit of texture. So I'm just going to apply glue stick and 3-in-1 to the back of this. I'm not going to bother going right to the edges. That really doesn't matter. I'll get it as close as I can. And then I'm going to use a bit of the 3-in-1 as well. So we'll apply a little bit of that, and that will hold the netting in place too, so no need to glue the netting down. So let me just move my rubber out of the way. I was using the rubber just to get rid of some of the excess glue from around the border here, so that's going to go. In fact, I think I want it that way round, like that. I like how that looks. In fact, I think I want the netting just a bit further over. This is the fiddliest part, isn't it? Just trying to get it in the right place. Of course, now it's all stuck to my fingers. Let's peel that up a bit. Right, stick it down, Nina. Don't overthink it. And I'm just going to weight that down again with a heavy book just to make sure that that grabs. Glue is drying and the other card is being weighted down underneath a heavy book. I'm going to do another one. I want to use this focal image here, and I want to do it in portrait format this time. So I have pulled out these papers here, which I think go really nicely with the focal image. And I think I'm going to start with the matte paper, which I want to go at the top of the page. Now I want to, that's about half. I want it to come down slightly more than halfway. That's about right. So I'm just going to apply some glue. I'll go directly to the card again, just because that's easier and quicker. So make sure we've got plenty of glue around the edges so that that does not come unstuck. Fill in the middle like that. There we go. And I like this part here of that matte paper. I think that's just lovely. So, and if I turn it over, I'll be able to see how straight I've got it as well. Let's just make sure that we've got it right to the edge, which will save any trimming on this side at least. And again, I'm just going to burnish that down and trim the excess away from the edges. And again, because I've got rounded corners, I am just going to use my emery board just to file away any of the excess like this, make it nice and neat. I love that paper. That's really nice. This is a really nice pad, actually. Where did I get it from? Oh, the Works World Matte Paper. This is really old, so I bet you they don't have this anymore. Then I was thinking that I could have these papers here at the bottom. I really like this paper here. What orientation do I want that to go? I think I'm going to have it there like that, because otherwise, if I have it like that, there's just too much writing. Am I in frame? So I'm going to glue it down something like that. So bring back the glue stick. I'll apply that directly to the card again. As I say, just making sure that I've got plenty around the edges, because I don't want that to come unstuck. And then how did I want that? I wanted it to go about there like that, and then there like that. And the good thing is that the writing, the text is going in different directions, which is good. This one's sideways and this one's in the right orientation. So there we go. So that's good. Burnish that down. And again, I'll go and trim around the edges. I've trimmed around the edges, so I'm happy with that, but I do want something to break up the blockiness of these lines here. I did want to use some of this washi tape. I pulled this out at the beginning, but on this one it's just too samey. I don't want a map on a map, so that really isn't going to work. Now in that set I've also got this one here, and I think I'm going to use this instead. Whoops daisy, I've just dropped my small scissors on the floor. Never mind, let's just trim this here. And you know, it looks quite nautical, doesn't it? You know, netting, that kind of thing. So let's see if I can get this straight. Is that straight? I think so. Oh, hang on. I think we're a bit off. Let me just turn it on its side. In fact, I can use that there as a guide. That will do. And so I'm just going to trim around the edge of that. Trim it. I do want to add just a little bit of glue though. Let's just add that there, because otherwise it's likely to come unstuck. I could do with peeling it up here as well, just to apply a bit of glue under there. I should have done that in the beginning and I didn't think about it. There we go. I don't want everything coming unstuck. Got my scissors as well off the floor, so let's just trim this. There we are. And then I've also pulled out some of this from the Elementary Atlas as well, and this has got all the grid references on, so I like that. And I'm going to have that across the top, across the middle there, but I do want to ink it first around the edges. So what have we got here? So in fact, let me just tear a piece off. I don't need to ink all of it. So this is frayed burlap distress ink. We'll just go around that top and bottom, make it look a bit more vintagey. There we are. So move that out of the way, and then I'm going to glue that on there like that. What have I done with my deli paper? Use a glue stick for that. So there we go. Oops, move that out of the way. So we'll have that across the middle and burnish that down. There we go. And I'm just going to trim the edges again. I also applied some of the paper that Lena sent me to the back as well, because that blue was really jarring with me. So I've repunched my hole. I've also blown up my focal image because the original one was just a bit too small, and I've got more space this time because I've got it in portrait format. Of course, you know, when I did the landscape one, that was perfect. So I think that is a better size, but I do want to mount it on something because I think that blends into the background a bit too much. I've got this piece of paper here that I also pulled out, and I think I'm just going to create myself a frame. So I'm just going to trim a piece of this to size. There we are. I think that's much better. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to stick it. I think I'll stick it about there like that, and I might even see if I can find some kind of quote that I can add to the bottom as well. So I'll just glue this down with a mixture of glue stick and a bit of 3-in-1 as well. I did think that I'd quite like to add something in the top left hand corner, and I was thinking of a postage stamp, but I just think it's too busy. These are just not doing it for me. The original ones I had in the first place, the colours aren't quite right, so I've gone through my rather hefty stash. Just look at all of this, guys. This is a fraction of the postage stamps that I have in my stash. They've always got them in our charity shops, and I just can't resist picking a bag or two up every time I go in there. But none of these look right. I thought I'd struck lucky when I found these Turner ones as well, but it's just too much, and sometimes I do think that less is more. I even found this Christopher Columbus one, but even that's not right. So scrap that idea. Now I have pulled out one of the word sheets that Anne Johnson very kindly left us in the group. And where is it? We've got a couple of quotes here that I thought were perfect. An adventure not to miss. The challenge was real. But this text is a bit too big, so I've shrunk it down, and this is what I'm going to add. So an adventure not to miss. The challenge was real, but that's too white, so I'm just going to go around it with some of my frayed burlap. So let's try and distress these a little. Do you know, I think I'm going to pop them onto some cardstock before I do that. I've glued these down to a piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to fussy cut these out. I just like them when they're a bit more stable and substantial, and my printer doesn't like cardstock, so I always print it out on just plain copy paper first and glue it down to scrap pieces of cardstock. That's just, you know, my way of doing it. I get asked all the time, why don't you just print it out on cardstock? I wish it was that easy. My printer just spews it out. So here we go. That's that done, and then I can ink around the edges. So let's just do that. This is just frayed burlap, and of course it's easier to ink around the edges when it's more stable as well. So there we are. And I just think that quote is absolutely perfect. An adventure not to miss. the challenge was real. Of course, the challenge of the waves was real. So really choppy seas. Although it looks quite calm in this picture, but you know what I mean. That's better. See, I really like that. So I'm just going to glue those down, fiddle around with placement. Glued down, and I've inked around the edges. And the only other thing I want to add to this piece, is there a side to this, is this shipping wheel here, which I think will just add just another little element and a bit of dimension. I'm going to glue that down with some clear gloss gel. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue, if it will come out, just around the wheel like this. And then I'm just going to have to set this aside to dry. So let's see if we can get this to stick. And I want that there like that. I think that looks really cute. Here is my finished mountboard tag for the Nautical Ride the Wave prompt for this week's challenge. So that's the last one I did. This is the first one. I really like that one as well. I love the colours in this one here. Love that washi tape. It's just beautiful. And this was the first one I did for On the Rocks. I'm feeling as if I need to do one for Under the Sea as well. Of course, I didn't do a collage theme last week at all, but I feel as if there's something missing and I need to do another one now. But I just love how cohesive these are, because I've used repeat elements. I've used the Elementary Atlas in this first one here as well, a piece of paper from that same pack, the same piece of washi as well that I used for this week's project, and so they work cohesively together, and I really like that. So just to recap, the theme for this week is Nautical Ride the Wave, and you can interpret it in any way you like, so you don't have to do a collage like me. You know, if you want to do mixed media, watercolour, you know, the choice is yours. I've absolutely loved seeing the variety in the group this month. Now, don't forget to go and check out Kylie's video either. I'll leave the link to Kylie's video in the description box below, so please do go and check and see what she's been up to. But if you enjoyed my project this week, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.